Well, hello people, and welcome back to episode 20 of Yokeley, our vanilla Cities 2 build. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Last episode we finished Upper Benedict, which, in all honesty, in hindsight now, might be possibly my favourite ever hillside build we've done. Especially just like hillside suburbia. I love the crawl up the hill. So beautiful. Today's episode though, we are heading out into the countryside of Yokeley in the farmsteads that lie in the east of the state. Lots of demarcated fields here, we'll also add some functional fields, lots of fun national road infrastructure, some highway rest stops, and indeed the first town as we begin to build out this part of the city. Well, let's get started with those national roads and then build out our first farming town. We're also naming the new town Florentine today as well, which was a suggestion by many of you. Thank you for the continued egg names, it's always appreciated. Or at least egg food dishes anyway. So coming into the town of Florentine, we'll get started with the centre of town, which is going to be surrounded by all these wonderful fields, which I think on the end of today will just be such a wonderful visual. So trim off the road here. So I know almost immediately what asset I want to have sit here. And that's going to be just the regular old, fully upgraded vanilla elementary school. It just has such a nice town hall, sort of municipal centre about it, doesn't it? I think even from the fields, if we jump quite far away, you're going to be able to see that little rise, aren't you? I think that's just going to look great, isn't it? So that's going to be our city centre. Town hall, at least. Let's draw our roads around the back of here. We shouldn't have to worry too much about the terrain. It's pretty well graded already, to be honest, apart from maybe that bit just there. Let's just give that a once over on the approach up for this road. And then this road down here, I'd really like this to function as a bit of a main street. So let's roughly guess. I'm going to draw it out from this road first because I want the grid structure to be whole. But they're going to align pretty much about here then. That can go into the roundabout, and then we'll also have the hierarchy extend this way as well, as we'll have some houses and further town infrastructure in this little pocket too. Just gets a bit gnarly on this slope here, doesn't it? So I'd really like to isolate these two fields here within the road network, right? So let's bring this one all the way up. As far as we can get it. That probably will go out of town one day. How big is that tile? Yeah, go on. Go on. We'll do it. We'll hammer the tile upkeep a little bit more. It won't mind. It's fine. And then let's just allow that road to follow the edge of the field. You can box together, and then we'll have you leave this way. And then we'll do another one up here. Links in that. I'm not bothered about a slightly shattered zone in there. That'll just isolate those two fields right in the middle of town there, which I think it would be just a really cool visual for the farming town, right? And thankfully, the beautiful human being with fantastic character and the map maker that is Lane, he made all this fertile. Thank you so much for doing this. So on the approach up into Florentine, I actually love some functioning farms as well, of course. So let's see just how much room we have to play with these. I'm going to stick mostly to grain farming because I hate the animal farms. Oh, isn't that annoying? We're so close to filling that whole space there. I suppose we could break it up into two farms, couldn't we? Let's have a little gravel road come down here that will hold the farmhouse. It's very, again, I can't not think of Project Skylines in moments like this. Let's bring this up, and then we'll run it against the field. So I don't want to follow the curve of the circle. I think the curved fields really hurt just the visual of an agricultural space. They are obviously there, like those big irrigation fields in places like Phoenix. But I'm not doing that sort of pattern here. So I'm just going to run mostly 90-degree angles back down to this. And then our other one, we can probably place it closer to this road here. Just bringing up another little dirt road in this farm. And we'll just snap to geometry so we can get as close until the collision says no. And then we'll try and position this next one. Let's go. Leave a little bit of grass at the end of the dirt road there. I'm going to hug this all the way against the road too. Leaving a little corner just where the dirt road begins. Wonderful. And then we can bring in some different trees and whatnot here. And maybe even some fun little prop yards actually. You can certainly imagine some silos out here in particular. Feel free to expand your farm spaces, crates and barrels and whatnot, and general farming supplies. Lots we can do. And then let's run a little sand surface here just to indicate a bit of a trodden work yard. Definitely no grass left here now. It's having tractors driven on it all the time, etc. And just such a simple tip, you know, it just helps change up the shape of the fields a little bit, shape of the farmhouse too. Extra fencing is also always appreciated, isn't it? Because it's currently not in the game, as a network at least. You guys have to let me know, would you mind me adding the extra networks mod so we can draw fences? Because they are vanilla assets, it's just the game doesn't let you draw them for some reason. So if you wouldn't be against me adding extra assets to the series, we can start using fences. It's up to you though, I'll let you decide. It is your series ultimately. But let me know what you think on that one. And then just some tree lines. Mix of ages really. And then we'll send this not all the way down. We'll do another farm in this as well. And then just random selection of trees. Some wild bush as well. Always appreciated. Perfect opportunity for landscape sponsorships, of course. We'll have another dirt road here, and then fill out this final farm space. So I think that's just a bit more interesting, isn't it, than trying to maximise those circular radiuses. I hope they remove those radius one day. It'd be good to have just whatever shape field you like to fill a space and have them functional. But I really don't mind that, especially that extra yard in the middle of the field with a single silo. Do you know what? I wouldn't even be averse to a wind turbine in this yard as well. Oh, it does work too. Like the farmer has sold land or indeed using it for, you know, local on-site power. Perhaps as a bit of a green initiative from the Oakley government. I actually really like that there. The wind turbines are very realistic in CS2, aren't they? Really realistic, actually. Don't use them too often, because of course they're so dependent as to where you can place them. I didn't even check if this was making power. 5, what was its max production? 5, okay. So it's at its most happy here, is it? Alright then, well, I'm down with that. Let's give it a little underground connection. We'll also do the same with the rest of our power as well. Actually, no we won't. We will bring in a local transformer from the power network, because we have dead lines over here. So you don't need to go to Benedict, because there's power there already. But Florentine does need power. So now, what we will get is these big old power lines. And where do we want to go? I'd love to follow the road, really. Let's come out on the angle up to this one. And then we'll start following this national road. I'll probably treat this as an outside power connection. And in a little industrial area, which we'll build here today, and we'll have a transformer that siphons power from the grid into rural Yokeley, rather than just constantly belting it up from the town, right? Let's have some transformers here. A transformer, actually, would probably make a very nice little bit of highway side detailing, I think. Maybe here. Maybe here. Just want a road, of course. Just an alleyway road. They want to connect in. They probably will. But then again, they might not use it as a shortcut because it's a slower road. I guess we'll see. And then you will belt in providing power, which is then Florentine's power, which has its pipelines, not pipelines, what are they called? Electricity cables and pipelines under its road. And then so City Planner doesn't attack us. We'll keep them under the road all the way back into town. And is everyone happy? Yes, there we go. So some little bits of sort of country infrastructure out there, right? Gonna drive past a transformer here on the National Road. I'll take some industry next to this as well in the detail and time lapse, just expand the facility a bit. Very nice, but that all went well. Let's turn our attention to some main interior services and residential here. So coming into the town centre here, let's have most of this, I think, is asymmetrical 3-lane. And then we'll feed this one down here as well to complete our town centre box. In terms of the zoning style here, I wouldn't mind trying some Eastern European stuff while we're out in the farm fields. Not really sure how this behaves as a zoning style, really. Let's box it into this tree line here. We'll do 6 deeps, and then we'll do some falls as well. Let's see what we can summon. In terms of services, we'll keep it all small town. Not US is a bit big, but of course we'll do small med clinic. Respect our corners where we can. Have that one there on the way up. Our fire department, I'd love to use one of the older looking ones here. Or the French one's nice, isn't it? Should we go French? I think we'll do French. Let's bring in more roads here too. Have a lot of our residential sat here. And then let's have our French fire station right here. Goes quite nicely actually with the brick and stone and tiles of the elementary school. Don't hate it. I do find a lot of the European stuff to be very stylized, but we can get on board with that one. We'll give it all its upgrades too. And for our police, good. Ooh, you gonna sit? Oh, yes, you are, aren't you? You are going to sit there because you amazing. I love that. This will look nice. Let's come through here with pedestrian road. We'll place our perfectly centered building there. And maybe even a touch away from it, actually. Let's pull it just a little bit away from there. So it extends the textures down. And then with those textures, I would love to... Which one do we want to do? Yeah, let's pull this one down toward the pedestrian street. And then these little ones will have run on a 90-degree angle all the way back to the edge of the road. Which should look pretty nice, I think. I have to say, surfaces to the vanilla game are an enormous people pleaser for me. I really like it. And then all around the edge of this, let's have our... I can find a happy spot for it here. How about there? We'll do 2 big squares of landscaped grass either side of our police station, which I guess I'm probably repurposing into a bit more of an extension of the municipal town hall here. But it's old stone and tiles, so it works for me. And then possibly another pedestrian road. Super. And then I can even see where the tile's torn, but rather than actually pull that over, not the tile, sorry, the surface. I'll just have this run down here like that. Cool. And then maybe some nice car parks in these spots here. What sort of size can we go to? Can we get the solar ones in? Oh, we can. I think solar parking next door to like a municipal city building. Again, like they're trying to get on the green initiative, you know. We're basically playing green cities at this point. These solar parks. Cool. I really like that there. our Eastern European. I don't hate it, actually. I can't remember what the level 5 stuff of this really looks like. But I think I'm willing to give it a go. I think we'll keep it just down the main street. Not everywhere, though. Maybe have this as a bit of an older town. For some reason, I think the UK terrace homes might actually go quite nicely with this. I might mix and match some of this in. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. And for the commercial around the town centre, I love some larger parks first, so it's more be savouring for those. Definitely a football pitch here. We'll have that on the corner as well. Looks like we might even be able to take advantage of a little bit of cut and fill here too. I want to push this up all the way up here. And then we'll grab ourselves a pathway. That's not steep enough for cut and fill, is it? That's fine though, we can still make use of it. And then we'll draw the path up this way. So commercial for town centre, I'm inclined maybe to go base game American's pretty grim, to be fair. I think maybe even European. Might switch it to European commercial. Let's also bring out all these roads that are going to continue to leave Florentine for pastures new. These two won't. We'll create another block here. And then that can kind of round out our town centre. I'd like to bring in some different angles here as well. Let's see if we can cut across something like that here. And I did mention some asymmetry as well. So all the way into town will be asymmetrical. And then also all the way down here as well. On the way in. I want the 3 lanes coming in. Super. And behind these buildings, I think some car parking would actually go rather nicely. So let's bring in an alleyway. And see what we can place. So you can't park on the main street, so you can like park behind the building, right? Well, I suppose they do actually already have that to an extent on these assets, don't they? Although that repeated pattern that's coming is very nice. Is that for the same asset? It is, isn't it? There you go, everyone. For people plopping, you can get quite a nice pattern with this stuff here. Is that like the only asset? I think it might be. I think it might be there. That's okay though. They will level up and change. And then let's just have some extra car parking then for super busy days. Can we even do 2 of these? Might be able to. Oh, if it sits, it fits, everyone. There you go. Isn't that amazing? Yeah. Just so there's some like off-street parking near the main street. Be happy with that. Unique buildings, especially commercial ones, are definitely welcome here. How about the Mermaid's Tea Lounge on Main Street? Should blend rather nice with the European and the French vibes that are over here. And maybe a UK pub too as well. We've got quite a few of them we haven't used. Definitely a town centre building, the pub. A corner one. Pub with lounge. Yeah, I can have that there. Maybe even a touch closer to the French building, actually. That way, French and UK brothers can unite together. Maybe something there. Yeah, the terrace housing, it's not massively offensive with the Eastern European stuff, is it? I don't hate that at all. I think we'll mix and match those down that street. There we go, what a happy little discovery that is. Further services, let's also bring in some post. I think the small post office is the only real choice here, isn't it? Although, the Eastern European one isn't enormously offending me. It's quite small and discreet, so it blends into the town. We obviously don't really want any towers here. Although, I won't say no to 1 or 2 apartment blocks. Like modern developments that are now lingering around the older buildings in town. And then just to isolate that, we'll do a little path around it. I've also just noticed I was burning through a vast amount of money. How expensive are those services? 2 million. Holy crap. Did not realise they were so expensive. I just deleted them to save them. But we'll place them in a sec. We need to get some more taxpayers in. Yoti services are expanding without many new taxpayers. So coming into our residential, I'll certainly have some around here. So let's begin to go off of this road. I think I want to use some Japanese. Not a zoning style we use a ton. But in quite a specific pattern. So I think... So I want to use a whole bunch of 3x3 Japanese residential assets. Now, of course, I have no control over what they grow to. But we can still have a lot of fun with this, I think. There's not a ton of assets in that selection anyway. If we do that pattern, we can have... Well, so let's leave 3 tiles in between then. Because then it'll all be perfectly nice. So with that pattern in, I'd then like to run some pathway. Do you want to go straight across here? I think we will. All the way down here. Down to... We don't need the pedestrian crossing there. I'll remove one of those though. And then are you going to go anywhere, road? Well, yes you are. There's a perfect little spot there for you to squeeze through, isn't there? You'll go between those fields at some point. And then we'll also have that same pathway pattern coming right back down the other side. This should give us what I'm hoping will be like a really nice leafy kind of country suburban street view. Okay, now let's pick out our trees. So remove any trees from the center here. Do a bit more of a landscape. Look, I guess we could road mount them actually, now I'm thinking about it. I'll certainly have the grass lining down the main street where the houses are. Then we could do a tree here. I think maybe fully grown or teenage birch. Oaks would also be nice, but they kind of dominate the road a little bit, you know. Yeah. And of course, once all the cranes are done building these single family homes, we should be left with a really nice and country appropriate residential design. Isn't that wonderful with the little yards out front? I really like that. I think we can have a lot of fun with the Japanese stuff out in this town. We'll use it pretty much exclusively for all our residential. And there's plenty of spaces we can pack all this in as well, isn't there? So we'll have some fun with that. I guess I just need to wait for the game to run and for our economy to rebalance. Let's have a look at our tax rates. Could we do have a lot of residential tax. We could bump that up. Residential demand, sorry. We could bump that up. Never really drops, does it? And maybe a touch more on industry too. Cool. Either way, I'll just let the simulation run for a little bit until it rebalances and these people move in and start paying. So I'm happy with how this European stuff is developing. I think we'll carry it on. And maybe one of the older pubs here as well. Maybe on the corner. Get some more terrace housing down the street. And then for office space, I guess vanilla is probably the best option, I think. Definitely want some jobs down Main Street. Also scatter some parks through here. Not the water park. It's a bit too much, really. Have our usual fanfare. Dog parks, skate parks and whatnot. I'd love a little out-of-town gas station as well, actually using one of the unique buildings. Let's also continue with the terraced homes down this way as well. Right, we have lost all our commercial demand again, which is fine. Hopefully that'll bounce back up. Oh, there's a little peak of it there. I think it is growing, isn't it, at least? So just on the edge of town, maybe like right here as you come in, we can have a little alleyway road. And then we'll hold one of the petrol stations here. We've only got one of them left, have we? We do, yeah. So I guess it's this one. We'll just put that on the corner. And then we'll have that connect in. And I might even keep the same landscaping designs with the pathways running down Main Street as well. Probably won't have any zoning here. And then in terms of the commercial around the main building, this one's quite a difficult choice. Northeast might probably be best, actually. I do a stretch of northeast commercial here. More after it's the old brick and stone I want, but I don't want the European stuff everywhere either. We will replace our French elementary school. We'll have to wait for the budget to reaccumulate to place the fire station back again. I have no idea they were so expensive. Actually, nearly bankrupted the city to hire some French policemen, if you can believe it. Who saw that come in today's episode? And then I'm also going to run some oak lines either side of these pathways too. Let's bring a bus into here as well, right? We set up our bus infrastructure last episode. Goodness gracious. So I'd love it. I mean, where do we want to send you? I think definitely on a returning line. I don't want to do a mirrored loop here. So if we're going to have our buses stop in... Well, how about this little bit of the town centre here? We're close to the services, the schools, post office, medical. The shops are just down the road. And then we'll also send the bus into the residential area as well. Actually, I think I'll put our bus infrastructure just here. So let's have a road come in and out. And then on the other side, we'll do something like this. And then we'll create 3 bays here, I think, is what I want to happen. And then we'll have them all stop in and around here. Let's make sure all these are also set to the same direction as well. Then let's place those bus stops. So if they're going to come into the town, they'll stop here. We'll send them down the main street for sure. Stopping every other block or so. You can come down the main street, absolutely. Stopping by all these pedestrian crossings will be handy. Don't mind losing a few tree lines. It can then come down here. There's no need for it to stop here, really. On its way back out of town, it can actually stop by the centre again before it leaves. And then it will leave, stopping just as it comes back into Benedict. And then terminating at the bus stop over here. Of course, we prepared plenty of platforms last episode. Thank you, Past Egg. And we can get all these flowing into the town. You go up there, do you? I don't mind that though, that's alright. And circle Florentine. Stopping at all the residential. Back into the town. Could get it to stop again, but it's stopping there, so there's no need really. And then, yeah. And finally, terminating there. Of course, don't forget everyone, please administrate your bus lines. You will thank yourself for it one day. And this is the Upper Benedict to Florentine shuttle. There it is. Fantastic. We still should be okay for buses. Ignore the corpses and garbage. It is a bug. They do have... Oh, are we flooding again? Are we flooding again? Why? Oh, that's why. Because the water. I mean, you shouldn't flood again, though. The water line's even dropped here. Why are you flooding? Again. Nothing has happened with the water. This was fine at the start of the episode. I came over here to check it. Only certain bits are flooding again, though. Not all of it. I guess that's just the water spilling over the dam then. Yeah, the water level has changed here. You can see the tree in the water. Okay, I'll worry about that another time. I'm not dealing with the flood again. They're used to it by now. Yes, just to make sure we have enough vehicles for the buses. There's another 10 spare here. 8 over there. So the next platform, which will be the bus to Sunnyside from here, will essentially just be a direct shuttle. It can come and stop at all the same spots the one from Benedict does. Yeah, loop around that side, that's okay. You don't need to stop at that one across the street. Stopping at all these, and look at that, it's even taken our new country road. Isn't that fun? So now we have like a National Express coach running over there. That's really is a lot of fun. I love setting up these sort of public transit lines. They never get the busiest, you never get the huge amount of walking point on them. But they are a lot of fun. Florentine to Sunnyside. The budget's going insane again. We haven't even placed anything. It's constantly up and down. I imagine that's maybe coming with increases in population, maybe. I guess we'll see. We'll get more taxpayers in. And what do we think of the Northeast Commercial here? Yeah, I think so. It's definitely the right choice, isn't it? It's brick, it's old, and it's got shops in it. I'm interested. So, look at that now, straight back into the positive for no apparent reason. I didn't do anything. Classic ZS2. Cool. And then all this here can just become commercial. Basically everything that faces into the centre of town, I think. And then I'll also draw that one up as well. Let's maybe not go 6 deep here. It's a bit intense. Let's maybe keep it 5 and 4s. So yeah, I just need to wait for 2 million to accumulate again. So I can rebuy my bloody French fire station, which is the most expensive asset in the game for some reason. What are UK terrace homes down Main Street? Do I like the vanilla office though? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It could change that one. I'd love to utilise some of the one-way angled parking roads actually. Just so you can kind of have them behind these buildings here. I think the visual of parking lots behind the main street is going to be an important visual for our episode today, especially this main rundown. Back out the back of the pub with some trees, if we can find it. There we go. Yeah, I like the way the main street's coming on. I just realised I placed the pub sideways though. I don't really hate it though, to be honest. It's okay. But yeah, either way, let's do some detailing. And we're bringing some trees in between all of these houses here, and likely expand the pattern up to the National Road as well. And probably into here. And then place some more services, details, services, some playgrounds. And perhaps a few more farms in the orbit of Florentine as well, so we can carry on satisfying the industrial chains. I'll mix in some cotton and food as well alongside the grain. And of course, before we do the detailing time-lapse, I forgot about the train station. There's a train from Sunnyside that needs to come over here. So let's choose our station. I'll go for something small and discreet, although the French station is... I'm going to have to remove this surface, which is okay. I will redraw another one in. But if I can have the French station sat with all the town centre municipal buildings, oh my word. Isn't that glorious? That's very nice. We've got some work to please the train police here though. I might actually remove this road through the middle and form it as a bridge maybe later on. We'll do some sloping here. But beyond that, that's a perfect alignment, that, isn't it? Yeah, plus 13%. The train police will crucify me for that. So we'll do a slope here, and then we might be able to factor in a bridge. If not, we'll do something else with this road. Maybe just treat it as a dead end and put a pedestrian crossing there or something. So we can come straight up here. The train heading down into town, and we'll just smoothen that field back out. It's going to create a nice little trench this through the town, as well as the rail dips below the car line, if you like. And then over here, we can have a 0.3 elevation, 0.5 there. Though we do get the silly bow in the road though, so I'll probably dip the road down for that in that case. Before we decide where we send these tracks, I guess we need to know where we're heading. And we've still got tons more land over here, so it's going to be this way, isn't it? 100%. We'll send the train through the fields then, and cross over the creek around here. We'll find something more creative to do with the level crossings for the road. But definitely prioritise the train in the rural area. But now we can detail, and I'll also get that train flowing back and to from Sunnyside to here, which means you'll be able to take train and bus all across the map from here, which is pretty cool once that's hooked in. So of course the train snakes all the way back down, right into Central Benedict. Happy days. Right. Now we can detail. Otherwise guys, that will do it for today. I also added a bus depot in by the transformer since we did actually run out of buses with the additional lines that we added today. And lots of fun props, plazas and park work all in between the road frame and the town centre. Leads to a really wonderful farming town in the former Florentine. Japanese housing turned out really nicely. Definitely recommend lots of repeated staggered patterns of Japanese suburban assets. A lot of fun you can have there, so let me know if you find any fun combinations. We'll hang around the countryside for the next few episodes before we move to develop the next major metropolitan area south of Shelton. An enormous shout out to the patrons and YouTube members that support these videos, with a roll call to our golden patron eggs: Bad Wolf, Blythe, Casino, Great C, Jamin, Louis Adlam, Michael W, Phoenix MD, and Spartan Angel. Thank you so much indeed for your incredible support. If you want to get involved, links down below to Patreon and Instant Gaming, always the best ways to support the work we do here. I'll shut up and leave it there. Let's thank you all so much indeed for watching, and as always, enjoy the rest of your day.